Hello everyone, let's talk very briefly about the atom. So the atom has three main parts to it. We have protons, which carry a positive charge, neutrons, which are neutral, and then we have electrons, which carry a negative charge. And let's actually draw an example of an atom out so you get a better idea of it. We'll have the protons in blue, and protons and neutrons are in the center of the atom. So let's draw out a carbon atom right now. We'll be going through working with carbon today. So we know that carbon has 6 protons because the atomic number that we see right here is actually equal to the number of protons. So let's draw out the protons that we have here. So they're like that, towards the center, the very center of the atom. Then let's look at neutrons as well. We'll just make those little red dots because they don't carry a positive or a negative charge. And we know that a neutral carbon atom has 6 neutrons as well. So let's go like that. And this isn't the best drawing of it. It's really more compact than that. They're really right next to each other, overlapping each other as well. So think of these as really being close together, packed very tightly in the center of the atom. And now we move on to the electrons, which carry a negative charge. And electrons are actually in shells that are outside. Let's draw the shell in a different color. Let's draw it in gray so we don't get too confused. I apologize for the bad circle there, the lopsided. It's not great, but we'll work with it. So let's go and draw our electrons. So in the first shell, we have 2 electrons. And then our valence shell, which is the valence. Let's do that in a different color as well. So we have our valence electrons, which are the electrons in the last shell, or I would say outermost. Outermost shell. And the significance of the valence electrons is that they do the bonding between atoms. So we have 4 valence electrons, and we know that because when we look at a periodic table, the group number, so let's draw a small periodic table right here, just a rough sketch of it. So you have your hydrogen up here and your helium up here, and carbon is somewhere around here. And the periodic table has group numbers. Going along this way, so helium is 1, this is 2, and then we jump over to 13 on this side. And carbon is in the 14th group. So carbon and every other element in the 14th group actually has 4 valence electrons. Hence why we drew 4 out here. Let's move over to the atomic mass. So the atomic mass, or the atomic weight, it's also called, equals the average mass of all isotopes of an element. What is an isotope, you may ask? Well, let's talk about that. So isotopes, another very important chemistry topic. Isotopes are basically just atoms of the same element. So that means that we're talking all carbon, or we're talking all nitrogen, or all oxygen, or whatever. Atoms of the same element with different number of neutrons. For example, we have carbon has different isotopes, and they would be the most common ones anyway are carbon-12 and carbon-14, which you can write out just like that, or you could write out carbon-12 or longhand carbon-14. So they have the same chemical formula but a different structure. They will always have the same number of protons, so all carbon atoms, which we see right here, because the atomic number the atomic number is always the same for carbon, so all carbon atoms have 6 protons. Where isotopes come in is that the neutrons of each atom can change. So we will have each of these carbon-12 will have 6 protons and 6 neutrons, while carbon-14 has 6 protons and 8 neutrons. And that means that the atomic, or the mass number, the mass number of carbon-12 equals 12, because we have 6 protons plus 6 neutrons. Whereas with carbon-14, the mass number equals 14, because we have 6 protons plus 8 neutrons. And that's all for this video. We're going to talk much more in depth about this, but for right now, just an introductory video to get you thinking about